We are back on Carolina Women with our men on the couch. And Mr. Larry, I'm excited to learn more about Courtney.
Yes, we are so pleased to have Courtney Worrell here. Courtney is the co-CEO of 303 Associates. And 303 Associates, what I know about them is that they have helped change the complexion, improve things in downtown Beaufort. And I've seen the Saltus House and more things that sat dilapidated or undone for a long time, and 303 got involved and purchased and made renovations, etc. Tell us about some of the projects and some of the background of 303 Associates.
Well, we celebrated our 25th anniversary this year.
That's exciting.
Our founder, Dick Stewart, grew up in the Lowcountry and retired here in '98. Failed retiree. This is somewhat of an accidental business, but some folks will call us developers. We consider ourselves investors because we are strategically investing in properties within northern Beaufort County. We focus on rehabilitation, restoration, or new infill construction. Beaufort is an extremely special place, and growth is happening whether we want it to or not. So our goal is to accommodate that growth within our existing boundaries so we don't become sprawl city USA.
It's really interesting because you both talk about that since we've really started Carolina Women, about the complexity of Beaufort, but how you're managing the growth.
My husband grew up here, which is what brought us back here, and so he remembers the Saltus building when it was Belk, and then it closed down for 25 years, and it was one of those things that they said you can't renovate it, it'll collapse on you. But we renovated it in '01. It's been leased every day since. So
do you look for historic properties, or
both.
What's the criteria?
All of the above. So the criteria is usually within either the city of Beaufort or the town of Port Royal, city or town limits. We like historic properties. We've got extensive experience renovating those. The Beaufort Inn, which is in downtown Beaufort, when we purchased it, it was just the main, kind of the iconic pink building. And then over the last 24 years, we've purchased the entire block and have renovated the houses and added some new construction that blends seamlessly with the historic construction. But there's also things that we've done, like we converted an old car wash laundromat into a retail facility with 2 retail spaces and a restaurant. So it's redeploying assets within our existing city fabric.
It's reimagining.
That's
what I keep thinking, is reimagining these places.
And I want to mention that part of the grounds for the Beaufort Inn was Michael and my parents' furniture store. Was on West Street, and so there's a special. We stayed. My wife and I stayed there this past week for 4 nights at one of the buildings, and actually one of what we used to call one of the 3 little pigs.
Yeah, exactly. And, there's just 2 now. One burned.
And it was wonderful. But I had a group in from all over the country, and I was able to tell them that right there was where I used to go, and I wore cowboy boots and toted a fake gun and played at my parents' furniture store.
Exactly.
So that was, so there's a special place in my heart there. Now, I want to talk a little bit about your son.
Okay.
So
Happy to do that.
Yes. Tell us, because I've read about him. I've not met him, but he's got a great story.
He does. So my husband and I only have 1 child, and my husband's name is Jack Carter Worrell. We call him Jack. When our son was born, we envisioned only calling him Jack, but then, it got a little confusing, so he's always gone by a double name of Jack Carter. He's gifted like his dad. He's an incredibly bright boy, but when he was about 6, the Lieutenant Dan weekend, the Independence Fund was coming to Beaufort, which was a fundraiser for veterans who needed mobility assistance and devices. And he, at that time, saw a flyer for it and said, I want to do something for this, and I'm going to do a lemonade stand. And my husband was in a cast at the time, and he wanted to construct the lemonade stand from scratch. And so, I'm at Graco saying, help me do this. But it ended up, he did it for 3 years and ended up raising over $6,000 for the veterans, and got to spend a lot of quality time with these men and women and their caregivers. And it really gave him a tremendous appreciation for, those who choose to serve. He got to play golf, adaptive golf with some veterans and things like that. So it was a fantastic formative experience for him. He's now a sophomore in college.
Studying what?
Is he an entrepreneur?
He is a biosystems engineering major.
Interesting.
I'm not 100% sure. We just talked to Tony, right, and talked about the beauty of where we live. my son, when he's not in school, is on the water. Redfish are where his heart is. He loves where we live. He loves the planet. He wants to do something in the field of trying to save our environment.
Oh, that's amazing. Courtney, thank you all so much for joining us. Stay with us. There's a lot more to come here in Carolina Women.